As a Ukrainian, after watching that meeting, that show of a meeting, I am more and more convinced that this administration has zero interest in actually helping Ukraine maintain as much of its sovereignty as possible. No, I think that basically they want us to shut up, to stop complaining, stop asking for help, stop asking for money, to concede to Russia, and to shut up and leave the US alone. I think that that's literally the message I got from Trump. Because he wants peace, but his idea of peace is basically just end the war and do whatever the Russia wants. That's what I was getting, because Zelenskyy was simply trying to explain that he's open for a ceasefire, but there are certain guarantees and protections that he wants for his country. And he was villainized for saying that. He was villainized. He was basically told, no, you're just prolonging the war, you're killing your people and this and that, you want the World War III. No. He wants his country to be intact. He wants as much freedom in his country as he can maintain after these in Russia continually eat away at our country. But he's villainized for trying to defend that, for trying to defend his country. And after that meeting, what?
I'm not really sure that I interpreted the same way. So maybe you guys interpreted it differently. But I interpreted it as somebody that was a little bit more pompous than he needed to be, that didn't have any humility. He showed up not dressed the right way, and he was a little bit more sassy than we wanted him to be. And instead of him, because apparently he agreed to come and sign a mineral rights deal when he came over into the United States of America. And then Trump accurately characterized his dictatorship mentality and how he was moving. But the reality is that we seen it as though he didn't have any leverage, and it's very difficult for you to sit there and tell somebody what they should and shouldn't do, especially when we have no interest, right? We, aside from, in my interpretation of the Biden administration and maybe all of the goons and everybody that donated to the campaign, and maybe some people got some kickbacks, but from my lens, it kind of seems as though you guys are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Meanwhile, Americans are the ones, not Europeans largely, Americans mostly. Europeans are helping. And then the rest of the world is just sitting back idly and watching and saying, And so it's usually the ones that help you that get kicked in the back. And so instead of us having endless wars, because this war has been going on for 3 years, and after 3 years, you have to start to have a conversation on, okay, so this is how we gonna move, this is what happened, this is our learned lessons, and this is how we need to do things differently. But sending hundreds of billions of dollars and at the same time continuing to send billions of dollars in weapons and weaponry and all of this stuff and thinking that that's going to actually solve for a problem is not the move. And so what the Trump administration said is, listen, sign a mineral rights deal because we want our money back. Ceasefire. A ceasefire doesn't mean the end of the war, but a ceasefire means that we can stop killing each other and y'all can stop having hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people dying in this war, because over 2,000 people died last week. And so we can stop the war so that we can start to have or further the negotiations. Meanwhile, the Biden administration and Kamala Harris, they admitted that they had never spoken to Russia. They wanted to have no forms of diplomacy inside of here. And I suspect why. We all have our reasons why we think that that's true. And then to see this person right here, and listen, I'm glad that you very, forthcoming as far as your how you feel about your country and that you love your country and all of this stuff. But you can't come from a position of power when you're the one begging and then you expect for somebody to bow down to you as though you're doing us a favor by solving a problem on your end. If Trump said, hey, listen, if somebody come to me and say, hey, listen, you and this person been beefing, all of the stuff that you got going on is destroyed, people are losing their lives, people are going to jail, so on and so forth. I got a direct connect to the person and they said, and they want to end this thing. But at first, you need to sign this deal because we've been funding you being able to stay safe. And so we've lost a lot of manpower and a lot of money in dealing with you. And we don't really get nothing out of it, but we want to recoup some of it. But more importantly, forget that part. We actually want to stop this thing because you guys, y'all out here battling for territory, and it ain't leading to nothing but more killing, more arrests, more deals, all of this stuff going out the window, and nobody's benefiting from it. So, I got a direct line over to homie over there. And I know that the previous people that you was dealing with, they didn't even want to talk to him. But I got a direct line over to him. Let's stop the fighting first. Sign this peace deal. Stop the fighting, and then we can have a deeper negotiations on how we can actually end the war and what happens after that. And then you say, I'm not stopping the fighting, and I don't care about how much money you didn't gave me. I'm not stopping the fighting until I get a guarantee of this and that and this and that and this and that. And it's like, yo, fam. Because essentially the person that's brokering the deal in between the two, the peacekeeper, is like, you know what? Well, I could just let this thing continue to go forward, and it really doesn't bother me any. Yeah, we're going to be out of some money, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to recoup, we're going to figure it out, and we're going to make it make sense on our end. We're going to make things shake. Trump's main goal is to find peace. And it seems like every single video that I've come across where people like this woman is saying that, oh man, they pissed us off and all of this stuff. They don't want peace. They want to keep fighting. They want to keep fighting. Your country is destroyed. Everything is absolutely mangled and all of this stuff. And the worst part about it is to see the treasonous thoughts of the people that's over here in the United States of America, and they're using your tax dollars to fund it. And we embracing it. We rocking with it. We think that it makes sense for us to keep on having beef and war and stuff. And that's getting us nowhere. But more bodies piling up and more people are dying and more women are getting raped and all of this stuff. And we're supposed to just continue to just let this continue to fly while at the same time funding this thing. Next thing you know, you want us to send American troops over there too? You want us to do a draft over here too? Now we fighting Koreans. Now we in World War III. Nah, listen. I understand it from their side, and I understand it from our side. But our side is saying that we can't keep taking L's as a result of the things that you want to do. And you showed up to the White House talking tough and disrespecting us in front of the Oval Office. Can't happen like that. Can't play out like that. And beggars can't be choosy. And you need to make sure that you go ahead and gird up and get prepared to bend the knee, because we need to end the war and everybody needs to go home and people need to stop dying, acting like we tough and not operating with humility. That's my lens of it. That's my lens of it personally. But like I said, I understand it from all sides, and I'm more curious as to what's going on. Make sure you guys tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I'm curious as to what you guys think. You let me know what you think. Do you think that we should just continue to let them fight? Should we bend the knee and then send them more money? Or should we be going exactly how we doing as far as trying to get peace so we don't wind up in World War III and we don't wind up continuing to send over American resources to take care of their business? I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.